Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel, Books with Peaches. We have undergone a little bit of a theme slash brand. I'm not a brand, but like my whole theme has kind of changed. So I figured it's been a long time since I posted. Might as well change it up a little bit, make it a little more me now than it was like a year ago. So we're just same thing book videos, just a little different formatting and aesthetic. So let's get into the books that I read in the month of January. I am so proud of myself. I read 5 books this month, so let's just get into it. So the first book that I read all year was The Stolen Heir by Holly Black. This came out on January 3rd. Funny story, I went to 2 Walmarts and a Target on January 3rd to try and find this book. They did not have a single book left in stock. And so we went back, me and my boyfriend, to another Target the following day, and I got one of the last 3 copies that they had available. So I ended up giving this book 5 out of 5 stars. I absolutely loved how different Surin and Oak were from Jude and Cardan. I think their relationship was really sweet, and I love how accurate Surin's reaction to her emotions and feelings are after like being alone for so long and thinking that nobody wanted her and that her family didn't love her and going through the trauma that she did. And I really liked how Oak was very similar to Cardan but different in so many ways, and it really shows how growing up mostly and partially in the mortal realm changed and impact Oak, because we see how Cardan was as a kid in How the King of Elfhame Learned to Hate Stories. It shows us like how he was as a kid, and I think it's really cool to see how growing up in the mortal realm and being raised by his sister Vivian really changes him. My absolute favorite scene out of this book was when Oak comes and he helps Surin get all of the knots and the matting out of her hair, and she's like so embarrassed, and he like has zero judgment towards her about it, and he just sits there and he brushes her hair out for her and he braids it for her, and it's just one of the most adorable scenes ever. This is very different than the Cruel Prince series because this first book is an entire road trip. Like the whole story format is road trip style, whereas in the Cruel Prince series it's not. Like their more setting is more centralized to one area, whereas this one, as they progress through the road trip, you see more and more of the world of the Fae, and it's just a really cool experience to read. I would definitely recommend this to the people who like loved the Cruel Prince series and wanted more of it. Just a heads up though, you don't get scenes with Jude and Cardan, but there are references to them, and it's alluded to that they will be a huge major part of the second book, but I won't go too far into that because that could lead to major spoilers for the end. So on to the next one. The second book I ended up reading in the month of January was Not So Kind Regards by, I think it's pronounced Cleo Evans. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think this is a very niche type of book series. It is a monster office romance, definitely an 18 and up series. But I personally really enjoyed reading about the dynamics and the relationships that were explored between the 3 main characters, Art, Callan, and Inferna. And I think that the plot that is set up, like the big bad for the rest of the Warts and Claws Incorporated series, is really well done. It had very, very good spicy scenes. I would definitely look up any triggers and maybe the types of kinks that are talked about in the book before reading, in case there's anything that you don't personally want to read. But I think the setup for the villain of the story is really well done. We don't get a lot of information about why the villain's doing what they are doing, what they're really doing with these omegas, but they give you enough to start wondering and wanting to read the next book. So I gave this one a 5 out of 5 stars, especially because there is amazing representation on consent, and I love simply every minute of reading this book. And I also really liked, I don't personally usually read romance series where the female is the more dominant of the pair or the trio, but I actually loved all of the girl boss moments that Inferno gave us, and I loved the different types of monsters, because there's just like so many different types, and it's like got me really back into mythology and makes me want to do more research on all of these different creatures and the events that they are a part of in actual history. So I love this book, and I loved them. So on to the next one. Third book I read was The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. This was a reread for me. It was my first time rereading this since middle school, and I guarantee you 95% of what this woman was trying to get across to her readers flew right over my head. Totally flew over my head. I forgot most of what happened in this book, and I absolutely loved it. I keep bugging my boyfriend to watch The Hunger Games because we don't have the DVD here at the moment, and I will continue to until we watch it. But besides the point, I absolutely love this. I bawled my eyes out over Rue's death, as I did, and as I thought I was going to. It's so absolutely heartbreaking, and I did not realize how much I liked Peta until I reread this book, and have since made several edits of him and posted them on TikTok. So this series is amazing. I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars, obviously, and I can't wait to reread the rest of this series. So the fourth book I read in January was actually the second book in the Warts and Claws Incorporated series by Cleo Evans, Not So Best Wishes. I am loving this series. I did give this book 4 out of 5 stars, and I would like to let you guys know that it was something I wish I would have looked up the trigger warnings for, because there's staples involved in certain risque scenes that aren't personally my taste and would have liked to be warned about before I came upon the chapter titled Staples. Other than that, I really loved the exploration of the different types of mythical creatures. I loved the power dynamic between the throuple in this book. I liked, it kind of went Cinder, Laura, and then Mitch, which was very unexpected, but I loved that twist on it. And then the actual plot of the book, we get to see more of like who the actual villain is. So we finally see like the big boss and who he is, but we don't get a lot of information on why he's targeting this office specifically. Nothing like that yet. But I loved this series so far, and I can't wait to read the rest of them. So on to the fifth and final book of the month. The final book I read in January was Untamed Vixen by Luna Pierce. Again, another 18 plus book. I would say It's a dark romance, dark mafia romance, and I follow this author on TikTok, and I absolutely love her, and this book was really, really fun to read. For being in the dark romance category, though, I feel like a lot of the scenes that were supposed to make it dark romance were a little on the tame side, but that is a-okay. It's a very good beginner's book for people just getting into dark romance, and the character exploration was really well done, and I liked how the chapter perspectives switched between not just June and one of the male leads, but all of them. So we got a little bit of information from everyone, and we got to see a lot of their internal monologue along with hers. Yeah, I don't want to say too much about this book because I went in just knowing bare minimum about what was supposed to be happening, and the actual plot, I loved it. So I gave this book a 5 out of 5 stars, and I can't wait to read the sequel, Villain Era. I have that. I had both copies, but I just lent this one, the copy of the first one, to my friend. So I hope she likes it. That was all 5 of the books that I read through the month of January. I hope you guys liked it. Let me know in the comments below what books you guys read in the month of January, what books you had hoped, maybe your most anticipated releases for next month. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the bell just to be notified whenever I post, and I'll see you guys in the next one.